welcome to BCTV's Producers Awards Night. And this is a really special occasion because this is the first time we're meeting at least partially in person since October of 2019. And it's a big deal, and I think we're all excited to be here and to be able to celebrate together. So our awards year lines with our fiscal year as a nonprofit. So that's July to June. And that means last year, our celebration, which was virtual, looked back on a period that was divided between before COVID and after COVID. Tonight, we recognize work created during a year when COVID went from bad to worse and then back again. So whether you're attending in person or remotely, we're thrilled that we can all be here together tonight. I am BCTV's board president. I recently stepped into the role when our former president, Chris Lenoir, had to step down for health reasons. My name's Alex Beck, sorry, it wasn't written in here, so I forgot to say it. I want to recognize Chris Lenoir's excellent leadership over the past 6 years, along with my fellow board members who helped guide the organization and are ultimately responsible for it. And those are George Anthus, Lynn Barrett, Marty Cohn, Bob Gammon, Leah Goodman, and Garrett Harkwick. And you'll hear more from each of them during the ceremony. So, and now, let's get started handing out these awards. For those attending remotely, please feel free to clap and cheer your little Zoom emotes. Or if you're on Facebook Live, you can also celebrate there. And so in our annual report, we individually recognized all of our volunteer producers who created or submitted even one program to BCTV this year. And that's because every program takes effort and makes a difference. And so we want to recognize all of our producers in our annual report. This ceremony recognizes a handful of producers whose contributions this year were exceptional in some way and exemplify BCTV's motto: be creative, be informed, be local. The awards highlight the myriad ways that video is a powerful tool for sharing your enthusiasm, views, information, talent, dedication, and enjoyment with viewers in Southern Windham County and beyond. In the interest of COVID safety, we have pre-recorded the awardees' acceptance speeches so they can speak unmasked. We ask everyone in the theater tonight to remain masked except for your award photo, and to please unmask to consume food only outside in the gallery space. And now I'd like to introduce our first board member presenter, Lynn Barrett, to announce the Community Partner of the Year Award.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome. This award I thought was, I was really interested in giving this one because I think I'd like to give a big shout out to Downtown DBA Association. They've done such a wonderful job promoting Brattleboro all over the country this year. And in particular, Gallery Walk and what they've done to actually reinvent Gallery Walk. So this year, the Community Partner Award goes to an organization that uses BCTV's tools and services to benefit the community and the organization. And the award goes to Virtual Gallery Walk. A little bit about it. So last year, last year, as I can continue, last year as COVID was closing down, Downtown Brattleboro Association board member Aaron Skaggs and video producer Frederick Noyes formed a team of volunteers to live stream Brattleboro's Gallery Walk. While Aaron and Frederick shared the experience of strolling down Main Street with viewers on Facebook and BCTV, stopping in at galleries, shops, restaurants, nonprofits, and performance venues, they really created a great connection that was lively and fun and gave a face to the people, keeping downtown vibrant and safely open for business. They produced 6 inspiring episodes of Gallery Walk Stream and Stroll between August 2020 and May 2021, when we all returned to downtown. The September video currently has over 4,000 views.
So the virtual gallery walk program came about because the Arts Council of Windham County was seeking some individuals or organizations to take over this really long-standing, beloved program. I was immediately interested because when I think about Brattleboro and community, gallery walk is probably one of the first things that comes to mind. For me, that has always really embodied what Brattleboro is about, which is connection and community and art and togetherness. And so immediately I was really interested in finding out what the needs were. I'm on part of the Downtown Brattleboro Alliance, and so I'm really interested in all things pertaining to downtown Brattleboro, of course. And so a group of us came together, all with sort of different skills, different interests and focuses, and it really came together nicely and complementary. So for example, we had technological folks and we had Luddites like me, and so we worked together to create this virtual program, which felt really important because downtown was still here. We were all at home. We were all sort of isolated and very by ourselves. And it felt really important to continue bringing folks some connection and a sense that the downtown Brattleboro community was still here, still kind of holding down the fort, waiting for it to be safe for folks to come back out. And so this effort really was to support both community members, downtown businesses, the artist community in Brattleboro. And I think that we hopefully achieved that.
I think we were looking to create a sense of immediacy, and we sort of struck upon the idea of doing this live and having two teams going out, and created this great sort of schedule where we were sort of bouncing back and forth between different businesses, whether they were, brew pubs or artist spaces or long-standing businesses, beadniks, for example. And we would, go into the shops and talk with folks and say, what are you doing? What are you featuring this month? And really sort of give people the opportunity to join in on the process and have that feeling of, oh, I'm there, I'm doing gallery walk, whether they're just up the street and not feeling like they're ready to go back out into public, or maybe a bit further away and missing Brattleboro. We wanted to kind of give people that feeling of wandering through the streets and going into the shops and sort of finding out what's going on.
We were really lucky to find a home in the Stone Church, both in terms of having a downtown hub to operate out of, and also some of the equipment and also some of the technological expertise of Dan Richardson, for example, and then of course Freddie and Al New. Despite our signal dropping out nearly constantly and having to adjust and fly by the seat of our pants, we wanted that energy, and I think that was our favorite part. Even though it wasn't perfect, it felt energetic and fun. And honestly, we had so much fun making them. That was like our Friday night out.
Definitely.
This award is particularly meaningful to me because I've worked with the Brattleboro Literary Festival for almost a decade, and this year I was one of its featured authors. This award recognizes a nonprofit member that uses BCTV to achieve the organization's mission. This year's award goes to the Brattleboro Literary Festival. Like most conferences scheduled for fall 2020, the Brattleboro Literary Festival made a very difficult decision to go all virtual. No easy feat, with approximately 40 author talks scheduled over 3 days for this all-volunteer organization. In addition, a subgroup of the festival committed to producing the virtual sessions to be aired on BCTV and archived on YouTube for those who couldn't attend live. Longtime festival director Sandy Rouse teamed up with 2 key volunteers to make that happen. Jerry Carbone to coordinate author permissions, and Jeff Mastroianni for the daunting task of editing. Together, they produced dozens of excellent author talk videos from the 2020 festival. The response and additional access was so well received, they went on to create a new monthly literary cocktail hour video series. And even more impressive, they signed up to repeat the effort for LitFest 2021. Congratulations.
Well, I guess first I want to say hello to my BCTV family and friends. I miss you all. Love you guys, and hope you're all doing well up there. And thank you for the award for our efforts last year's literary festival. I think the one thing that was clear to us was that given the fact that people weren't able to meet in person and enjoy the festival as it had been for the previous 19 years or 18 years, that it was really kind of essential for us to be able to put these videos together so that, folks would be able to enjoy the festival, given the time constraints and the way the festival had to be structured. We just felt it would make sense to get everything edited and put up there on YouTube for the rest of the world to enjoy. And it's such a great festival, and it's a labor of love on my part, I suppose. I've been involved now for I think 11 years as of this year, and it just made sense for us to go that route, and we'll do it again this year.
We really were honored to be selected because BCTV is an organization that we do truly admire because it offers so much to people in the community, and it's essentially free, and it's really a sort of a role model for us because that's kind of the way we roll too. I think that we've in 2020 with the pandemic, we started a series of virtual events in May. And we pretty quickly realized that there was a population out there that we hadn't been reaching at all. And they weren't just people out of town. They were people who were homebound because they were taking care of young children, or because they had elderly parents or spouses, or they were just physically not able to get out. And we quickly formed a little nucleus group of people who showed up every month, regardless of what we had. And then it was when the festival came, it just seemed like an obvious thing to go ahead and do this, to produce, the whole festival as a video, so that when you're running in two different tracks, you can't watch everything simultaneously. There's not a way to do that. So if people wanted to make a decision, then it's like, okay, well, you really have to have the videos available. The result of that was, of course, that, people got to watch, Paul Krugman and Zeke Emanuel and people like that on their home television screen, talking in a Brattleboro-based event. So I think it worked out well for everybody.
The experience last year, I felt, gave us the confidence to move forward for the production this year. We started in 2020, our festival had 24 sessions. Well, we increased that this year to 39, and which was really a challenge in many ways. And I just think that the ability for us, once we had the pandemic forced us into making Zoom our platform to distribute the content that we had, but it just was a small then reach to record it and then to edit it, and we had to create a YouTube channel for ourselves as well. So now all that content is available through the larger access through BCTV, but it also is archived now. And as I'm a real proponent of libraries and archives, and to have that content hopefully available forever for people to go back to was very important to me. And I think for the authors, because now they have a place they can send their readers to see what they have done.
pleasure of knowing Bill Anton through my day job at the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation. When we first started trying to work with high school students, there was no better partner than Bill Anton and his school system. And so it makes a ton of sense to me to see that the Municipal Partner Award, which goes to a board or committee that uses BCTV to promote governmental transparency and public engagement, to go to Wyndham Southeast Supervisory Union this year. As superintendent, Bill attends a lot of meetings covered by BCTV. And last year, as school boards changed formats and venues from online to hybrid, leaders were confronted with technical complexities while coping with extraordinary situations due to the pandemic. So even with these enormous responsibilities, Bill became known at BCTV as someone who truly cared about the quality of meeting videos and the access and transparency they provide. His cooperation and technical aptitude helped BCTV's staff solve problems before they happened and made him an unofficial part of the production team. And so, there's a great Fred Rogers quote that says, "Look for the helpers," and this certainly applies here from someone who is busier than most over the last year. So it's my pleasure to, let's see the video acceptance.
So it's incredibly important in my role as superintendent that I facilitate transparent communication with our boards, our public, our students, our parents. One of the things I love about Vermont is the participatory democracy is so real. And BCTV makes that happen because we went from a world where we just would, show up at our regular meeting time and we'd have a meeting and, sometimes it would be recorded and then would go on the website and people might watch it, to this crazy time where we couldn't meet in person at all and we had to get everything out virtually. And now we're in this kind of hybrid mode where we're still meeting in person, but we also want to communicate out to how we kind of got used to during the beginning of the pandemic. And BCTV has been my partner throughout the entire process. So I am responsible for 4 different boards, and BCTV is involved with all of them, all to different levels at different times and different places. But it's really about making sure that we're accessible, that our elected officials are accessible, that the information is accessible. And what I love is I get to show up at a location, I get to work with the professional from BCTV who's already been there, who's already contacted the school, has already contacted my IT people, have already contacted the principal. They know the layout of the land. Then they show up, we work in partnership. They're basically telling me what to do to make it all work. And then we work as a team to make sure that we are getting out the information to people in Zoom land, people in person. We have outstanding equipment so that the sound recording is wonderful. The live feed is fantastic. And then it's all packaged together in this professional document that I then get to share out with all of my principals who share it out with all their families. We get to post it on our website. When I realized that BCTV could offer that level of service, it was a no-brainer. It just facilitates participatory democracy. It allows us to do our jobs better, hear feedback from the community, and allows people to feel connected to their elected officials and the decisions they're making.
The new producer award goes to a producer who recently became active at BCTV. This year, the award goes to Deb Patchouli of Trinity Lutheran Church. When COVID closed the doors of Trinity Lutheran Church in March 2020, the pastor turned to volunteers to find ways to keep the congregation connected. Deb Patchouli and Jeff Herman May created a filming team and took turns using their iPhones to record services and upload them to the church's brand new YouTube channel. In May of 2020, they took the next step by live streaming services to Facebook. Then in March 2021, they began submitting their weekly services to BCTV to reach cable viewers. Trinity Lutheran now has regular air times on channel 1075, along with a handful of other local churches, and is planning to have a professional AV system installed. Patchouli and the filming team jumped in and bridged a critical gap with simple video tools and figured out the rest along the way. A positive example for similar organizations.
We had never done that before, never had even thought about doing it before, because we always had church live in person. No need to go out online at all. And then in March of 2020, we had to suspend our church service due to COVID. And our pastor knew, our congregation was now no longer meeting every Sunday. And our pastor used the phrase, even though we're scattered, we can be gathered. Scattered, but gathered. And we went into high gear. It only took us 2 weeks to get a YouTube channel open for us. We already had a Facebook page. We set up on YouTube, and then we started filming our services and sending it to YouTube. When we were able to resume in-person church services again in the summer of 2020, that's when we started live streaming to Facebook. Yeah. And then I take the Facebook service and polish it up as best as I can and put it out to YouTube and our website. And then this year, we started sending it to BCTV too. So we think that we're hitting all opportunities to get our video out. It's important to us because we still have folks who are very hesitant to come back to church. We wear masks in church, but still some people, they just don't want to, they're not ready. So they do watch us on Facebook or YouTube or BCTV. Yeah. They tell me that they really enjoyed the BCTV because the video and the audio is much better than watching it on their little computer screen. So, but we've decided as a church that even though we're back holding in-person church service again, we want to continue doing this. So we are in the process of working with somebody to upgrade our video and our audio. So I know there are people out there that are tuning in that are not members. And that's interesting. And we want to keep that going.
The Producer of the Year goes to Andrika Donovan. And the award recognizes a community producer for outstanding production work and commitment to BCTV. Andrika Donovan is a longtime BCTV producer, starting in 2013 with the talk show Let's Talk About Mental Health and Addiction, which ran for 80 episodes over 4 years. In 2019, Donovan joined a local discussion group to learn more about home funerals and green or natural burials. As a video producer prior to her career as a psychiatric nurse, she was encouraged to assist the movement by making information available. So she checked out gear from BCTV and got special permission to take it across the country for interviews and footage of conservation burial grounds. Back home, she used the studio to record local stories and resources. After weeks of work in the edit room, she was close to finishing her project when the station shut down for COVID. Undaunted, she checked out a laptop to work at home while receiving remote support from staff and completed her 7th video in February 2021. Donovan's enlightening videos, one currently with 7,000 views, captured national pioneers of this movement as well as Windham County perspectives.
Hello, my name's Lee Webster, and I'm here to accept this lovely award on Andrika's behalf. Over the past few years, she's traveled around the countryside, especially here in New England, capturing on film the essence of this rising desire for more affordable, environmentally responsible, and healing return to a natural way of death. As a subject to some of these films and a companion at some of the filming events, I can confirm that you've chosen wisely. Watching Andrika's deft hand put people at ease, allowing them to tell their stories in their own way, was remarkable. Her goal was simple: to reach viewers with intel necessary for making informed, creative choices about what is possible at the end of their lives. Much of what Andrika captured on film has to do with the practical matters of how to do what needs doing after a death, as well as why it's important to make the effort to learn more about different options. Her films explore the nature of death in the home, of our legal right to care for our own after the death, about the relationship between the deceased and their families, their community, and the land. She helps us see what's possible and what might resonate with our own sensibilities. This is a series, the series really is a tribute to the power of information over bad habits or old habits and societal expectations. It's a call to authentic death practices that nurture ourselves and the planet. And for my part, it's been a pleasure being at Andrika's side as she learned more about what some are calling the alternative death space. Introducing her to my colleagues gave both of us a unique opportunity to see these home funeral and green burial movements from really different perspectives. During much of our time together, we were witness to a swelling curiosity and willingness to learn by area clergy, hospice staff, community organizers, and folks who came out of the woodwork with experience we'd never dreamed they had. In a way, these films became the framework for cultural change that has spread throughout the entire Brattleboro community, resulting in the development of a conservation burial ground, a group of end-of-life explorers that meet regularly, and a concentration of informed professionals. This is the knock-on effect of creating video content that matters. Because of the intimacy of this topic area and her intention to make it available to the widest audience in the Brattleboro area, BCTV has been the perfect host, and for that, Andrika is deeply grateful. In her 10 years of producing short films for airing here, she has felt welcomed and supported by staff who many times went well over and beyond to ensure her project's success. As she said to me, what other station lends out equipment and then walks its new operator through how to use it? With the monumental help of Brian Bashaw, she was able to learn new technology while immersed hip deep in the project, only because of what Andrika describes as his immense tolerance and patience. So thank you, Brian. And thank you to all the staff who she insists run more than a business. She describes you as a community within the community, one of caring and support and smarts and dedication. If even one person's life and end-of-life experience is changed for the better as a result of watching a video in the series, it'll be because of your willingness to get behind Andrika's vision. So Andrika thanks you, and I thank you.
The Series of the Year award is given to the producer of an outstanding series on BCTV. This year, the award goes to Solos, produced by John Mack and Bauman Madavi. Bauman Madavi was in the midst of directing a show with the Rock River Players when the pandemic hit. His friend and fellow actor John Mack, who managed the Hooker Dunham Theater, suggested a way for actors to safely perform individually at the theater and then be brought together by video. And then the concept of Solos was born. A series of individual monologues filmed on the Hooker Dunham stage, then edited and premiered live on YouTube and BCTV. The live premieres were followed by Zoom after parties for the cast, the crew, and the fans. Madavi and Mack went on to co-produce 8 episodes between November 2020 and May 2021, and more than 30 actors, musicians, directors, and producers were ultimately involved in this uplifting project. And it currently has over 4,000 views.
The way Solos got launched was, it started from my perspective in the fact that here I am running a theater. Now I'm running it completely it's completely nonprofit. No one, certainly not me. Nobody makes any money at all. But once COVID hits, there's no audience can come in, and even you can't even rehearse really seriously in this situation. And I thought, and quickly bounced it off my friend Bauman, the idea of what if you have a single person on stage doing a solo, videotape that solo, and then now you have two people at totally safe distance from each other, a director, that's it in a large theater, well, actually a small theater, but as the spaces go, a large open space. And that then makes it possible to do something creative.
John had been working on Bloomsday, and I was very fortunate to be in that production. And I got the first taste of this video production, even though it was all remotely done. We were all the actors were performing through Zoom. But after that, John mentioned his idea of solos. And one thing led to another. Basically, what we ended up with, as far as I'm concerned, was sort of a necessity brought us to that point. John's idea of having a monologue, a soliloquy, a solo performance on a theater stage, well lit, good sound, and then filmed to be broadcast on community TV and to be available online made sense. And the next thing that was really big, as far as I'm concerned, was connecting with your staff member, Austin. And honestly, I feel that he is as much an author and owns as much of this project as the two of us do.
Yeah.
His not just his technical talents, but he's just such a wonderful, positive, easygoing, of course it's possible type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or it's not possible, and
and let's move
get
on.
real.
Right. Yeah.
We found that all these people came out of the woodwork saying, I want to do something. Will you put me in, coach? It's like, and we ended up with something like more than 30 actors. We had 2 solo performances. So it really opened the door, and having it be either a public domain or original meant that there's no copyright, there's nothing that you're doing that infringes on anybody else's work, and then you can put it on BCTV and you can put it on YouTube, and it's still there. So that means if someone's interested, they want to see me doing T.S. Eliot's love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, it's right there. Right
next to Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Right there. Sir Anthony Hopkins had nothing on my performance. Nothing.
For me, this was a gift to actors. We were heading into a time where the whole world was closing in on us. We're all just in quarantine, in seclusion, and nobody gets to see anyone. We work remotely. For many months, I didn't even leave the house, and so on and so forth. This was an opportunity to give us all, the actors, but as well as us, a creative outlet, so we don't go nuts. And
or we are nuts. I bet, but go more nuts.
Not again. Hey, yeah. Yeah, it happened again. Yeah, I'll be late.